Hello, I'm going to talk about O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. First, I'm going to read it to you. O Captain, my Captain, our faithful trip is done. The ship has weathered every wreck, the prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells are here, the people are exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribbons rest, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call, the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and deck. My captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse, no will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closing on. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with objects won. Oh, exult, O shores, and ring, O bells, but I, with mournful tread, walk the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold, and dead. The poem is written by Walt Whitman. He was born in 1819 in New York, where he lived for most of his life. He worked for newspapers and he was a teacher for some times before becoming a poet. He wrote, among his most acclaimed works are Leaves of Grey and, of course, O Captain, My Captain. He was a humanist and sought to incorporate transcendentalism and realism in his work. The time at which the poem was written was 1865. America had just fought the Civil War, and General Lee had surrendered years earlier, months earlier, sorry. The poem is a eulogy to Abraham Lincoln, who was assassinated in April of that year. The country, it was happy after 4 years of war, so it wanted to go back to normal. There was much celebration, of course, because of the end of the war, but there was also a lot of mourning for Abraham Lincoln. The form is actually quite simple. The first 4 lines are normal, then each subsequent line has an additional space in front of it. The rhyme form is A, A, B, B, C, D, E, D. And the end of each verse, the word at the end of each verse is dead. Now my analysis. So I picked up a lot of juxtaposition between the triumph of the captain, but that he can't see it, that he's dead. I also saw themes of that no one was mourning except the poet. I also kind of got the feeling that death was the prize for the victory. So, and in this case, costs are disregarded by the people who are celebrating. And I also got the feeling that the triumph was from the captain. He caused it, but he can't enjoy it at all. I found analysis online on www.litcharts.com, and I read it, and there are some differences between my analysis and their analysis, obviously. First of all, I didn't know when I was analyzing the poem that the poem was written about Abraham Lincoln. Also, the analysis was more elaborate. Mine was more just a bit of central points. Things we agreed upon was, for example, the cost of the war. That was a theme. Obviously, the juxtaposition between the victory and the death of the captain. I didn't notice the punctuation and the impact of that, but they did. They also made a point about public celebration and private grief, um, which I didn't really notice, and personal connection, which I kind of did, but I didn't really say it in my analysis. Um, they do say, however, that it's not fully Lincoln's victory, which I don't agree with, since there is the line, "For you the flag is flung, for you the bugles drill." So I don't think that it is honest. I don't really see how it wasn't the victory of the captain and, as such, Lincoln's victory. I chose this poem because, first of all, it is a good analogy to Lincoln's death. But when I chose it, I didn't know that, so I chose it because I recognize it from the movie The Dead Poets Society, and I wanted to know more about the poem since I recognized it but didn't really know what it's about. So that was what I wanted to say about it. Thank you for listening.